Okay, so welcome back to draft night number 3. We are just getting started here. Um, so I'm going to do something a little bit different this time. I don't normally like to try to force specific archetypes going into the draft. I would much rather just kind of see what the packs naturally give me and go from there. But this time around, I really want to try out Reasoning Gate. I just really want to see, if it's actually good enough to be in the queue. We can take it out if it's just taking up space, or maybe it's too good and just nobody's really committed to it yet. So I'm going to go into this one with a slightly different mindset than what I usually do and just try to see if I can get into Reasoning Gate. If I can't, we'll pivot and we'll draft something else. But I'm going to try to get into it and we will see how things go. Okay, so here we are on pick 1, and pretty easy Genzo. It's a one of. Reasoning Gate wants it. Pretty much any of the control decks want it. Beatdown might even want it. So it's just kind of hard to pass on that. We'll go ahead and take it. Okay, here we are for pick 2, and we do have a Reasoning here. We also have a Call of the Haunted. Card Destruction would be good, but we're just going to snap up this Reasoning. One of the most important things when you're trying to get into a specific archetype is your signaling cards. And Reasoning and Monster Gate are the signaling cards for Reasoning Gate. You can't really have the deck without them, so the best way to ensure that you're kind of the top dog when you're, trying to get in there and get into that archetype is to actually take the picks and signal your intentions. So this pack, we've got the one of Fairy Lily. Not really a great card for Reasoning Gate, though. We could pick up a Stray Lambs, or we could pick up Creator or Premature. And Premature's pretty easily the best choice. Spells and traps are just harder to come by. We can get those bomb monsters that the deck needs to finish out on. So we're just going to take this Premature and we will go from there. Okay, so this pack looks like it's just going to be the Monster Gate. There's a few other things here that would be nice to have. Cylinder is actually kind of cute in Reasoning Gate. Brain Con, not the worst. Tribute to the Doom, just flexible removal. You can always play Sakus and widespreads, but we're going to pick up this Gate. It's just good to have. So yeah, it's going pretty good so far. Got the one of Genzo, a couple things for the Reasoning Gate. Normally I don't like to force anything, but I just really want to see, can I get into this archetype and how good is it? Okay, I don't normally like Solemn and Reasoning Gate, but with this being Cube, you never know how many True Nades you're gonna get. And if we don't take that, what are we taking? BrainCon, MST? Maybe we just take MST. Yeah, I don't really like where Solemn puts us with this deck. Let's just take the MST. Air Knight, Fusilier, obviously decent to have if you're in Reasoning, but this guy is kind of the reason to play Reasoning. So we're just going to snap up that DMOC. Okay, pack 7. And there's not a whole lot here for us. We'll either get back Level Conversion Lab or Horus. We're taking Blowback. Really nothing here. We're going to take this Asura. Probably not going to play it, but that is a light that gets skipped over, so that's kind of worth noting. Okay, got a really bad feeling about where we are right now. So there's a few cute things here. We got an exchange. I think our pick is between a Hero Merges and Stray Lambs. They're both kind of iffy. I'm going to take a Hero Merges. It definitely has a higher ceiling. Okay, here's a very late Sacred Crane. That is an absolute gift at this point. Here's another shot at Stray Lamps, or we have Creator. I think I'm just going to take Creator. The worst thing about him is that he's an 8. So he does this like awkward competing with DMOC thing. Okay, probably nothing here for us. We're just going to go ahead and grab this Blue Eyes. Okay, nothing here for us. We're just going to hate this turtle. That's a pretty late Fusilier Dragon, so that's kind of cool. Okay, sweet. We got the level conversion lab back. So I don't know how good that's actually going to be, but we're going to try it out. Okay, here we go with the second pack. Should be firing up right here. Yep. Okay, a few things for us. There's an Air Knight, we got a Nobleman, but pretty sure we just have to take this gate. I'm just happy we're getting them. The hardest thing about drafting Reasoning Gate, I think, is getting Scapegoat, and then the next hardest thing is actually getting Reasonings and Gates. Because the way we have this set up, it's not too difficult to get a payout card, something to like leverage the investment, but and you see we have quite a few already. So in this pack, there's just really not much here for us. I'm just going to take this Saku. As far as, consolation prizes go, that's a pretty good one to get. At least it's actually a good card for us and it doesn't conflict with our strategy to play it. Same for this widespread. We could do it again, but I think we're actually just going to pick up Vortex. Hopefully we can get premature or call still. We have a premature and we had to pass call. Yeah, we still don't have any chaos payout here. Okay, well here's another reasoning. What's it up against? Smashing would be okay, United would be okay, Air Knight and Hadez are okay, blowback. But we're just gonna snap this up. It's the reason to kind of do what we're doing here, so. Here's Defusion. We don't yet have any chaos to fuel this. And Crane. One of these might actually come back around, though I doubt it. We're just going to have to take Monster Gate. But look how many of these we got. We've got 2 Reasonings now and all 3 of the gates. So we can't be too upset about where we are with regard to that, because it's usually the hardest part. Really not a lot for us here. Probably just going to be taking this Brain Con. I think that's the most likely to be good for us no matter what. But we're in an excellent position here as far as Reasoning Gate decks go this far into pack 2. We're firmly cemented into this strategy. We already have the DMACA and the Junzo, the 2 best payoffs. We've got all the gates, just 1 Reasoning left. So none of these monsters are really where we want to be. So we're just going to scoop up the return. Right now, it doesn't even make the deck because we don't have any way to turn it on. But it's not really up against anything here that we're going to miss. We're just going to go ahead and take it in case we don't get the Defusion back. And it's just nice to get this out of the way, to not have to think about our opponent having this. This card is really annoying. Okay, there's not really a whole lot for us here. I think our choices are just between Tribute to the Doomed or Different Dimension Capsule. And I actually like Tribute to the Doomed in this deck. Okay, here we are in this pack. We could just pick up Moisture Creature or Blue Eyes, but I think we're just going to go ahead and grab this Book of Moon. Not really the best card for this deck, but if nothing else, it's a nice thing to maybe have sitting at your side. Maybe they have a Jowgen or something we desperately need to out. Because right now, all we have to normal summon and attack the old-fashioned way is 1 copy of Sacred Crane. So we're probably going to want a little more than that. Okay, really nothing here for us. Tomatoes most likely to be annoying, though Jiu-Jitsu could be very annoying as well. We're of course not planning to play either. Okay, so we could hate out a Jowgen, or we could pick up Kaiku or Hysteric Fairy. Kaiku's probably going to be the best against us if we get into any chaos. Otherwise it would actually just help us if we play this. Of course without chaos we won't play this, so I'm just going to hate out the Jowgen. So what are we looking for here at the end? We still don't have any Scapegoats or metas or chaos monsters. We know we won't get Dimension Fusion because it was in this round. Nothing great here, but that's a pretty late Hadez. We'll just snatch that up. Okay, there's another creator, and you know, it's always rough when you have multiple 8 stars because they want to call that anyway. Nobody wants to let you get DMOC into play. Yep, so definitely no Dimension Fusion. Who knows how we can do on Scapegoat and Metamorphosis. Maybe we can get there and pick a few of those up. Okay, well this Phoenix being here is kind of cool. Yeah, this deck may not be very good, but I think we're gonna have fun with the draft this week. I mean, I could come in here and just try to draft mid-range beatdown and maybe high roll every now and then and get chaos, but how entertaining is that going to be after a couple of weeks? Because we already know that stuff's good. Let's try something else. So pick up this Mataza here at the end, and we're going to go into this third pack and just try to, try to get there, try to round this out with some quality picks. Okay, so here we are in the last pack. There's a tribe, real nice for anybody to have. Here's Scapegoat that we desperately need. Unfortunately, it's up against Pot of Greed, and there's just no chance we're not going to take this. I mean, what's more fun than Pot of Greed? Who doesn't like drawing cards? Okay, this is pretty nutty. There's a Trunade and a Nobleman. I mean, we have to take the Trunade. That Nobleman would be nice, but can't reasonably see myself not taking the clear things out and go for the push card. Now the second Trunade versus this Premature, I think I would just rather have the Premature. It's definitely close, but Premature is just such a powerful card anyway, and it's exceptionally strong in decks like this where pretty much everything is a bomb. So it would be nice to get that back, but we won't. If we're really, really lucky, we might get that Jar of Greed back. We have a Silent 5. At this point, I'm kind of giving up on Chaos and Meta. Right now, I don't have a level 5. We might get this cost down back. We're going to take this Silent 5. I don't feel great about it, but that's where we are. And here's the reasoning, and here's Meta. Well, we won't get either one. I'm just going to take the reasoning. I sure do hate that, though. I would love to have had that meta. Man, this is rough. I'm just gonna pick up this Mind Con. I don't think we're actually gonna play it, but it could be kind of nice to have. So not a whole lot here. We could just hate out the level limit. I'm actually going to pick up the Nobleman of Extermination, though. That might come in handy for us. As far as side deck cards go, I think that's actually one of the better ones. It's good for dealing with, Sakuretsu, Widespread, Raigeki Break, Wing Wind, if our opponent, tries to get into multiples of those. Alright, there's a Joan, another Fusler, but we're actually going to be happy to grab this. Okay, wow, so Scapegoat came around. That is the biggest godsend we could have asked for. Okay, 6 picks to go. Nothing really for us here, and nothing that I feel like we particularly need to hate draft. We picked up Book of Moon last time. I think this was the exact choice we had last time. We're going to get the capsule this time, just to have a little variety. Probably not going to start it. We actually have a lot of playables. Like I said, this is one of the harder archetypes to actually get into when you're drafting. So, and technically there's a couple of cards in the side right now that we could play. So to already have enough playables is pretty solid. Okay, so we're not too worried about any of these monsters. Drop off might actually help us depending on, if we have like Prematures or something stuck in our hand. But we're just going to hate pick this Messenger piece. Okay, so here we are at the end, and we didn't get any metas, so I'm not too concerned about this Fusler per se. I want to actually try out this cost down. It could be kind of an interesting way to unjam your hand with a deck like this. We're probably not going to start the Jackal, but he actually could come in depending on what our opponent's on. He could be better than one of the creators, for example. This is kind of funny. I don't think we're going to play this drag down, though we actually could. It's not half bad in this deck. And the Creator Incarnate at the end to go with the creators we got. Okay, so this is the deck that we're going to be taking in. Pretty crazy that we managed to get all of the reasonings and monster gates and quite a few of the good payouts. We don't have any chaos or any way to remove it though, and we're definitely light on defense. You know, we only picked up one goat to go with these gates, so realistically we've only got the two cranes, and if we normal set the Fusler to kickstart these gates in addition to Scapegoat and Braincon. But we do have all three of these one-ofs that were kind of put in here to go with this archetype. So I'll get to try these out. I don't really know how good this is going to be, but it should be fairly entertaining. So stick around and we will be back with the games. Okay, so here's round one. And same as I usually do with these games have happened, so this is just a review. We get to go first, fire the spot, pretty standard. And I just want to set up. I don't want to give away what I'm playing yet. We're just going to take some damage here. Set 2, wave motion. Okay. Going to be a quick game. Just let that go. Then we'll go ahead and gate. Or nope, we're going to tribute for blowback here. Try to take out this cannon. I remember how this goes now. Spoiler alert, not good. So then we gate. Try it again. We actually do get to convert it this time and get some damage in. Alright, he gets the clear on us here. We go for this reasoning, get the Junzo, and that's going to do it. And like I said, I normally don't try to force any deck. I just see, you know, kind of how the pool's looking, but I knew going into this that I kind of just wanted to try reasoning out, so I think there were some issues with the sound at the beginning of the video, so wanted to go ahead and clarify that. So pretty standard opening here. I go for this hero emerges and we get the jackal out. He goes for the swap. Unfortunately, I can't scapegoat here. Would have been nice. So he decides to just Saku on the Kaiku, and now I can get the scapegoats out and protect my life points a little bit. And, you know, we do have a gate here, so I'm going to see if we can convert this. And we pick up Hadez. We're going to go ahead and Braincon the Jackal. And just look for the spin. Then we'll sack out for Creator. And we'll just pick up an extra card here. We know he's drawn to a Blade Knight, so... but he already has this tribe, so that's a little unfortunate. But he doesn't go for the full clear here. So we're able to just do this, and... I don't remember what he actually called, but it wasn't 5, apparently. We were on Discord for these, so... Alright, he gets the swords, but that's not going to stall the swordsman, so that's kind of funny, actually, that interaction did come into play. Draw set. Pick up this cost down, doesn't really help us here, that's okay. We're pretty far ahead. But he does manage to get that. And we're just going to let that run out, see what he tops, and he tops a pretty good beater. So we're just going to have to take some damage here for a little bit. Alright, we get this premature, but he has drain. That's okay, we've got a cost down to pitch to it, and I forgot how to read for a second. Realize I can't get that, so we get the Jackal instead, and just choose to chop his draw here. we hit another reasoning, and this time he goes 6, and we hit Phoenix. So that is going to do it for round 1, and we'll be back with round 2. Okay, here we are for round 2. Pretty weak hand here. We're just going to set the Saku. Cliff comes down, may as well pick it off. No reason to take the damage because he'll just eat the Saku anyway. Here's Tomato. This is looking like a good way to convert this Brain Con. I opt to go with the gate instead of going for blowback. So we get to fish another card here, but who knows how much that's really helping. When you play a deck like this, there's just so many points where it's like, if I had done this one little thing differently, it could have made all the difference, or maybe it doesn't make a difference at all. Who knows? So we attempt to get this level down lower, and we can only get it to 6. So this card's pretty bad. The Hero Emerges is much, much better if you're going to play something in that vein. And when we look at the cube this time around for edits, we may just get rid of that and put in another Hero Emerges. So this Genzo's putting in a lot of work, but he's got smashings for days, so we're doing it a little bit at a time. I set this, and I realized after the fact I should have just hardcast it, because the odds of him not having something to get rid of it are pretty low at this point. But anyway, so here comes Sorcerer, and we do have Tribute to the Doom for that. Pick up another brick, and he has a way to protect that. And then there's Mask for enough damage. So pretty rough draw that game. Alright, so we'll just set the Scapegoat. Our hand is pretty cracked. Scapegoat goes off. Mirage Dragon does not do anything to prevent that. Sets 3, so he's got a solid deck here. We're going to go ahead and pitch the Minecon to pay the buyout on the drain, and we hit Demock. Unfortunately, don't have a ton of good targets here, so we just take the gate. There's Jackal. No Torrential yet, and now we get the Torrential. So luckily for us, we still have some things in the tank here. But he calls for Crane right in the window, so we're just going to get this 23 down. We saw enemy controller in the first game, so that's something that kind of gets to walk by. And here we are, just picking up bricks again, no big deal. So he goes for this mirror wall. So it's going to reduce a good chunk of the damage. But he can't pay it, and he just scoops. So we'll head on to the third game now. Pretty solid hand. We just go for this reasoning. He calls 8. Get Fusler, which in this particular deck, he's just a guy. No metas or anything to go with it. He's got the Mirror Force, so pretty big plus. And I started having some internet issues here, so hopefully this won't be too scuffed on the back end here. Flips Merchant, gets Vortex. Here comes Cliff. Alright, Hero Emerges comes down, and yeah, at this point I was playing from my phone, so a lot of misclicks. End-phase Dust eats the Brain Con, no big deal. We had to set it to make sure we hit a monster on a Hero Emerges. Crane comes down, and we're just going to start trying to poke here. So we're looking for the Junzo. He sniffs that out, calls 6. And that would have been it, but he's got the Saku here. Now he brings us down and attacks, and we're able to try to Saku. He's got my body. And I guess he's thinking he can just absorb the attack here, but he doesn't know we have this Mon Con to just move that out of the way. So that's going to do it for round 2. So somehow we make it to the finals with this, and we will be back to see how that goes. Okay, so here's the finals. And unfortunately, we have to go second. Pretty awkward hand. We're just going to try to get through this here. Hoping for a blowback or Hades to try to answer the Shining Angel without the effect resolving. So we get the blowback. Unfortunately, we whiff the effect, and we're just going to have to attack through. Don't want to let that happen, though, so we're going to vortex that out. And here's Soul of Purity and Light. So it's going to reduce my attack stat and let him crash in and take that out with the DD. True Nade to get the Saku out of the way, and we're just going to eat some damage here. Pick up Hades, totally not helping. He goes for this blowback. And we really need this to miss. Get lucky there. So he calls 8, and that's the worst thing about Creator. Because they already want to call 8, right? Because nobody wants a DMOC coming down. So they're already incentivized to call the level that this is. And that's honestly just the worst thing about it. So we end up getting stomped pretty hard on that one. We go into the second game here. Pretty solid hand. We're just going to pass. Let this angel hit us. Depending on how this goes, we have BrainCon Monster Gate, which we do decide to just go for even though we get the Hades. Now the Phoenix comes down. So I decided to just let this go. I didn't really know like what he was going to follow up with, so since we had this premature, I just kind of wanted to let it happen and maybe simplify the game state a little bit, and then just kind of go from there. Alright, he's going to rotor for DD. So now we're going to Saku that. And that's going to be enough. I think he just had a pretty clunky hand. Alright, this hand also kind of clunky, but you know, we have plays here. We shouldn't get run over too hard. So we let all this come up. He's kind of sniffed out that we don't have Mirror Force, so we're going to get the DD out, and then we're going to bring the Fusler down with the Hero Lives. And at this point, I'm feeling really good about where we're at. We get the spin. So he goes for the Soul X, gets a pretty big clear, and we just go ahead and fire this off in phase because we want to be able to use Gate if we draw it. Which we don't pick up Gate. but we do get to answer the Zaborg. Alright, so he's going to start racing these tokens down now. And now I'm feeling really not good about where we're at. But we're going to go for this and just see if we can hard cast this and get through. And luckily it does. But he had Snatch all along, so now I'm feeling pretty bad again. We pick up this Trunade, and this is kind of a cool thing you can do here. If you ever get to run over Sinister with Dark Ruler, they will not be able to add this back to their hand until they can recover it with something like Premature Burial and then have it die some other way than Hades. This works the same as Dark Balter in the fusion deck. It will actually cut this effect, so you have to be very careful with your Sinister. But back to the game, he has Freed and just beautiful counter to the Hades. And we're top decking now, and I'm drawing things that aren't good. He's got a Don to punish that. We're just going to set this MST, and we're just going to kind of hope he doesn't have any way here. And he goes for this call, but we have the MST to survive. But we pick up a dead Minecon, and that is going to be game. So we end up 2-1 in the draft, not too bad. Reasoning Gate, I mean, it's Reasoning Gate, you know, it's glassy, but the ceiling is high. And it does actually seem to work pretty okay in the cube, you know, pretty true to life experience of how the deck performs in constructed, both in terms of functionality and consistency. So I think it's where we want to be, but you know, we'll look at it again, and that's going to do it for this week. So we'll see you guys on the next one, and thanks for watching.